here is the Hubsan X4 107L. What's happened here is this motor back here doesn't want to spin. You can give it a flick and it'll go, which means it has one of the coils is dead on it. So I'm going to show you how to replace that. You just take your tool here, pry off your blade, flip it over, take off the little rubber bumper. There's 3 screws in the bottom. Here you need a really small screwdriver. I took my screws out for the snap pieces here. You just want to push back on the motor assembly until that comes loose. It's designed to break away so that it doesn't damage the body. As soon as 2 are off, the whole thing will lift right off and you expose your circuit board. You'll see that you have 2 different motor sets, one with red and blue wires and ones with black and white wires. That's your clockwise and counterclockwise. It's this motor here that we're replacing. You're probably going to want a little flat screwdriver to pry that wire up and just pull it out so it's free. And then you'll want to take your soldering iron, and you want to be as quick as possible. This is a small board, so you just want to heat it enough to get that wire off and the second wire. Once your wires are free there, you'll need a pliers or something to grab the motor. A little twisting motion and it should slide right out with the casing. Then you take your new motor. I'll post links of a couple places that I've ordered parts from. So you want to make sure you have the motor with the black and white wires if you're replacing one that had the black and white wires. Once you get that fed through the hole and have your wires coming out, it's time to solder them back on. And if you did like I just did here and didn't take note of which was positive and negative, you just can look right over here at the other motor, and your white is going to positive and your black is going to negative. And so there's little markings there on the board, the negative and positive, so just make sure you match it up with the opposite side too. So you need to take a little bit of solder and tin your wires. For those of you that having a hard time getting my wires separated there. So tinning your wires is just getting a little bit of solder coating on the wires so that they'll connect with the solder on the board readily. If you're not familiar with soldering, you might want to watch a how-to soldering video. Maybe I'll put one of those out soon. So our black is going to our negative side. You get one wire on, let it cool. And our white side to positive. So make sure that solder melts and cools hard and that you can tug on the wires and they don't release. The wires just follow that track. There's a little split down here in the motor housing. You just want to feed that wire down in there. You might want to use your flat screwdriver to push that back in there nice and snug. And then it follows a path through the armature here. There's a little place right in here that it has to go around. There's 2 little snap points that the wire kind of snaps down in, but you gotta make sure that you get it around that piece and tucked in where that hole is at, because the bottom of this has a little rod that snaps into there, so you don't want to accidentally cut your wire. So once you have your wire tucked back in, you can put your rubber bumper back on. To put the bottom on, you want to just line up one of these kind of at an angle so it tucks in to the motor housing, and then hold that down with one hand and then take your other hand and just pinch down the other ones till they all snap in. That should be seated on there nice. Okay, so you put your screws back in. Not too tight, you don't want to strip them out. Put your propeller back on. You want those to seat nice. You want just a tiny bit of space left between the motor and your propeller. You might have a guard on yours. It's a little harder to tell with the guard on. Alright, so let's plug this puppy back in. And there it goes. Fixed.